I wake up to the sound of dripping water in the bathroom sink, the same rhythm I've woken to for years. Another day, I mutter to myself, staring at my reflection. The mirror doesn't lie, dark circles, tired eyes, but there's a stubborn spark underneath it all. Why do you even bother, Ollie? I hear my neighbor's kid call from outside, laughing. I ignore him. I've always ignored people like him. I grab my worn backpack and step outside. The street smells of smoke and fried bread, the same every morning. I meet Ayaan, my best friend, waiting by the corner. You're late, he says, arms crossed. Traffic, I lie, forcing a grin. He snorts. You mean your alarm didn't scream at you again? I shrug, smiling. Same difference. He shakes his head but walks with me. Still. I don't know how you do it. Working 2 jobs and still dreaming like some rich kid. Someone's gotta dream, right? I reply. Or we stay stuck here forever. He nods, silent for a moment, then mutters, I hope you know what you're doing. I glance at him. I do. My words sound more confident than I feel. I always feel like I'm a step behind the world. A step behind everyone, especially her. Her. The thought hits like a punch to the gut. I see her everywhere, smiling in her designer clothes, laughing with people who matter. And me? I'm just a shadow in her light. Hey, Ollie. Morning, she calls as she walks by in her perfect heels, phone in hand. Leah. She's everything I'm not. Polished. Confident. Untouchable. Morning, I mutter, keeping my eyes on the pavement. Still working at that cafe, she teases. You could do better, you know. If you tried harder. I laugh softly, though it tastes bitter. I'm trying. Every day. She smirks. Right. Good luck with that. And just like that, she's gone, leaving me hollow. But Ayaan nudges me. You okay? He asks. Yeah, I say quickly, forcing a smile. She's just herself. He studies me, skeptical. You're crazy if you keep letting her words sting like that. I know. I pause, watching Leah disappear around the corner. My chest tightens. I've loved her for years, despite everything, her jokes at my expense, her subtle dismissals. And yet, I can't stop thinking about her. I shake my head and follow Ayaan. At the cafe, I clock in and greet my manager. Morning, Ollie. Another long one. Always, I reply, slipping behind the counter. The coffee machine hisses, steam curling into the air. The smell is comforting. Ordinary. Safe. Ollie. A voice calls from the back. It's Sadia, my coworker and friend. You survived last night's chaos. I grin. Barely. But I did. She laughs, tossing me a rag. You're a glutton for punishment. Maybe, I say, wiping the counter. Or maybe I'm just stubborn. Ayaan stops by later, sliding into the small cafe corner. Dreaming again, he asks quietly. I meet his eyes. Every day. I can't let this be it. I know I'm meant for more than this. You'll get there, Ollie. I've always believed that, he says firmly. Even when no one else did. I swallow hard, a lump forming in my throat. It's strange, his faith is like oxygen, keeping me alive when I feel invisible. Thanks, I whisper. I don't know if she'll ever see me for who I am. Ayaan smiles softly. Then maybe it's not about her. Maybe it's about you proving it, to yourself first. I nod, staring at the coffee machine, imagining a life beyond the cafe, beyond Leah's mocking smirks. One day, I'll be someone she can't ignore. Someone she regrets dismissing. For now, I grind through the day, counting every tip, every small victory. The world doesn't hand out chances to people like me. I have to take them. And I will. But I can't help thinking about her. About Leah. And the fire inside me grows, quiet but relentless. She doesn't know it yet. But one day, she'll remember my name. I thought I knew her. I thought she understood me. That's why I told her. Every fear, every hope, every ridiculous dream I had for a life that seemed impossible. Leah, I said, voice tight, I've been saving up, trying to start my own little business. I know it sounds crazy, but I really believe it could work. She tilted her head, eyes glinting like she already knew the punchline. Really, Ollie? You? Running a business? I swallowed hard. Yeah. I mean, I'm serious. I've done the math, the plans, everything. She laughed softly, like a delicate wind that cut straight through your chest. You always say that, don't you? Dreaming big while living small. I flinched. I'm not just dreaming. I'm trying. Her smirk didn't waver. Right. Trying, bless your heart. I opened my mouth to say more, but before I could, she flicked her hair and walked away. I should have known the warmth I felt around her would never be returned. The next day, I overheard it. My chest tightened before I even recognized what I was hearing. And can you believe Ollie thinks he can run a business? Pathetic, right? Leah's voice rang clear, mocking, as I rounded the corner near the cafe. My stomach dropped. And there he was, Ryan, the guy she'd been laughing with. Tailored suit, smug grin, the kind of man who seemed to exist just to crush people like me. Exactly. Ryan said. I told her he's hopeless. He's always been hopeless. I froze, a bead of sweat forming at my temple. My mind raced. The words I'd shared in confidence, now paraded like trophies. I clenched my fists. Leah. I yelled, my voice cracking. She froze, then turned slowly, pretending innocence. Oh, hi, Ollie, she said, her tone light, almost sweet. You heard? Yeah. I heard, I spat. You laughed at me. Behind my back. You told him everything. Her laugh came again, sharper this time. Everything? Don't be dramatic. I just didn't think you'd mind. I took a step closer, anger burning through me. Didn't think I'd mind. My dreams, Leah. My life. She shrugged. Well, you're kind of ridiculous. But don't worry. Ryan thinks I'm impressive, so you can't be that bad, right? I wanted to hit something. Or someone. Instead, I swallowed and forced words out. You don't care about me at all, do you? Her eyes flicked away. I'm just being realistic, Ollie. Not everything works out. I turned away, trying to hold back tears. My world felt hollow, like the ground had opened beneath me. I'd trusted her. I'd bared my soul. And she had weaponized it. At work, the whispers followed me. Colleagues smirked when I walked by. He's really gonna start a business, one said, loud enough for me to hear. Good luck with that, buddy. I gritted my teeth, keeping my head down. But every laugh, every snicker was a knife twisting. I felt isolated, alone, humiliated. Ayan caught me later by the back alley near the cafe. Hey. I saw what happened, he said quietly, voice low but fierce. Forget them. Forget her. I can't, I muttered, pacing. I told her everything, Ayan. And she used it. Like it meant nothing. He shook his head. People like her, they don't see worth in anyone but themselves. Don't let her break you. I paused, staring at the cracked pavement. Rage coiled inside me, cold and sharp. I don't know if I can ever trust anyone again, I whispered. You'll learn who's worth it, he said firmly. And when you do, you'll rise above all of this. I clenched my fists. Rise above, the words felt good, like a spark I'd almost forgotten I had. That night, I sat in my room, staring at the ceiling. I could still hear their laughter in my head. The betrayal burned, a fire I couldn't ignore. I felt hollow, shattered, but alive. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet, relentless voice whispered, one day, they'll see. They'll all see. And I won't be the same Ollie they mocked. I replayed her words over and over, not out of pain, but as fuel. You're ridiculous, she'd said. Maybe I was. But ridiculous or not, I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. I'd been knocked down, humiliated, stripped bare of dignity. And yet, I felt the first flicker of something dangerous, something unstoppable. Determination. Rage. The kind that doesn't burn out easily. Tomorrow, I promised myself, would be the first day of something new. Something she could never take from me again. And as I drifted into a restless sleep, I could already feel the first steps of my revenge forming, quiet, patient, inevitable. I don't even recognize myself anymore. Every morning, I wake up thinking maybe today will be different, and every night I go to sleep feeling smaller than the day before. At school, the whispers are louder than ever. There he is, the genius dreamer, someone sneered as I walked past. I clenched my fists. Why do you all have to be so cruel? I muttered under my breath. No one answered. No one ever does. Even my so-called friends, they've stopped calling. Ollie, are you sure this business thing is real? One of them asked, smirking, as if my failure was already guaranteed. Yes. It's real, I said, voice shaking. And I'm going to make it happen, even if you don't believe me. They laughed, shaking their heads. Keep dreaming, loser. I stormed off, my chest tight, thoughts swirling. Every step felt heavier than the last. I could feel Leah's laughter echoing behind me. Every cruel word, every mocking glance, they all pierced deeper than any knife could. At home, I threw myself onto my bed, staring at the ceiling. A torn photograph slipped from under my pillow, Leah smiling at me once, a memory I cherished, now a jagged reminder of everything I'd lost. I pressed my hand to my chest, trying to steady my heartbeat. I trusted you, I whispered. I trusted you, and you. The door creaked open. My mentor, Mr. Farid, stepped in. Ollie, he said softly, can we talk? I groaned. I don't want to talk. I just want to disappear. He knelt beside me. Disappear. Listen to me. You're better than this. I've seen your potential. Don't let them define you. They laughed at me, Mr. Farid. Everyone, even her. Even Leah. His eyes softened. Then prove them wrong. Not because of them, but because of yourself. I shook my head. It's impossible. I've lost everything. My pride, my confidence, my dreams. It's all gone. He placed a hand on my shoulder. Nothing is gone, Ollie. It's still inside you. You just need to find it again. I swallowed, bitter tears threatening to fall. How? How do I keep going when everyone I care about, everyone I thought I could trust, turns on me? He smiled faintly. Step by step. You start small. Show yourself that you're capable. Then, when the world laughs, you'll just smile back. I lay there, staring at the ceiling again, his words lingering in my mind. Step by step. Could I do it? Could I climb out of this pit of humiliation and despair? The next day, I wandered the empty streets, thinking. My gaze fell on a small, crumpled coffee cup on the sidewalk. Someone had tossed it carelessly, just like they had tossed my trust, my confidence. And yet, it was still there, still holding shape in its own pathetic way. I picked it up. If it can survive being thrown away, I whispered, then maybe I can too. Back home, I found the old notebook where I had written my plans, sketches, numbers, all my hopes inked on fragile paper. I opened it, and the smell of old pages mixed with determination. My hands trembled. "This isn't over," I muttered. "I won't let them win. Not Leah, not anyone." I remembered a conversation with Ayan. "One day, they'll see. They'll all see. And I won't be the same Ollie they mocked." I nodded to myself, silently promising. "I will rise again. I will." Later, Mr. Farid stopped by my apartment. He handed me a small envelope. "Take this as a start," he said. "A little guidance, a little direction. You've got the raw talent. Now you need the tools." I opened it carefully. Inside were notes, contacts, small tips on business and growth. I stared at them, feeling something I hadn't felt in weeks, hope. "Thank you," I whispered, gripping the envelope. I won't let you down." He smiled and left quietly, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Alone, but not powerless. I pulled out the torn photograph again. "One day, Leah," I said softly, my voice steadier, "you'll see me. You'll see everything I become. And you'll know that I didn't need your approval to rise." I taped the photo to my wall. A reminder. A symbol. Pain transformed into fuel. As night fell, I stayed awake, planning quietly, sketching ideas, and whispering to myself. Step by step. I'll start small. And one day, they'll regret every laugh, every insult, every betrayal. For the first time in weeks, I felt it, the faint flicker of fire in my chest. Not rage alone. Not despair. Determination. And I would use it. Every ounce. I woke up that morning with a strange mix of fear and excitement. The past weeks had left me hollow, bitter, but something inside me snapped. I couldn't stay in that pit any longer. Not when I had ideas, skills, and fire buried beneath all this pain. "Ayan," I said as I met him at our usual spot, "I'm done waiting. I'm going to change everything." He raised an eyebrow. "Change everything? Careful, Ollie. That's a lot to bite off." "I know," I said, fists tightening. "But I can't sit here and let everyone, Leah, Ryan, everyone, define me anymore. I have to take control." He smiled faintly. "Finally. I've been waiting to hear that." Later, I met Mr. Farid at his office. "So, what's the plan?" he asked, leaning back in his chair. "I need guidance," I admitted, "but I also want to take real action. Skills, connections, anything to start climbing out of this." He nodded. "Good. Step 1, focus on what you can control. Skills, attitude, networking. Step 2, small wins that lead to bigger wins. Step 3, patience." "Patience," I muttered. "I've got plenty of anger, but I'll try patience too." "You'll need it," he said. "Ambition without control burns out fast." I smiled. "I've got more than ambition now. I've got fuel." I started taking extra classes after work, learning business techniques, coding, marketing, anything that could make me stand out. One evening, while practicing a presentation at a local workshop, Sarah, a young entrepreneur, leaned over. "That's a strong pitch, Ollie. But you're missing a hook. Something that grabs people." "Thanks," I said, adjusting my slides. "I want to impress investors, but it's hard when no one believes in you at first glance." She laughed softly. "Believe in yourself first. Investors follow confidence." Her words hit harder than I expected. "You're right. I can do this. The next week, at a networking event, I met Omar, a seasoned business consultant. He asked, "You're Ali, right? Farid student?" "Yes," I said, heart racing. "I'm trying to get started with my venture." He studied me, nodding slowly. "I like your determination. Keep pushing. I'll give you some contacts." I walked away, stunned, clutching the business cards. Ayan caught up to me. "See? Small wins. Keep going." I didn't expect him to take me seriously, I admitted. "After everything, it feels surreal. Feels like the first step up from the bottom," he said. "Enjoy it, but don't stop here." I couldn't stop thinking about Leah the whole time. The fire in my chest flickered with both excitement and lingering bitterness. "One day, she'll see me at the top," I whispered quietly. "And she'll regret every word she ever said." But I reminded myself, restraint. Patience. Focus. Revenge wouldn't be sloppy. It would be precise. The first victory came quietly. A local competition for young entrepreneurs. I presented my project, voice steady despite the nerves. "Ali," Sarah whispered afterward. "You nailed it." I smiled, surprised at how good it felt to succeed for myself, not to impress anyone else. Ayan slapped my back. "See? Told you. Step by step." Even Mr. Farid called later. "I'm proud. You handled yourself well. Keep building momentum. Momentum is everything." I spent late nights refining strategies, building connections online, and even negotiating small deals. Each success, no matter how small, fueled me. The anger I had felt toward Leah became quieter, tempered by the thrill of progress. It wasn't gone, never would be, but it was now a tool, not a poison. One evening, while reviewing my notes, Sarah leaned over again. "Ali, you've got potential. Don't waste it. Let your work speak louder than anyone's words." I nodded. "I will. I promise." And I could already see it, her face, surprised, maybe even jealous, when she finally realized how far I'd come. But that vision stayed locked in my mind. For now, I focused on the grind. The people I met along the way became more than allies, they became reminders that I wasn't invisible. Omar, Sarah, Ayan, Mr. Farid, they were stepping stones, guiding me forward. I remembered the torn photograph of Leah on my wall, the one I had patched up. I stared at it, letting a quiet smirk cross my face. "Patience," I whispered. "One day, everything will change. And you'll remember who I was, and who I became." Each day, each small victory, sharpened my resolve. I was no longer the boy mocked and dismissed. I was becoming someone who mattered. Someone who commanded respect. Someone who would rise far beyond what they ever imagined. The turning point wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, personal, a decision made in the depths of despair. And now, every step forward reminded me, I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. The first time I felt it, real recognition, I couldn't stop staring at the contract in my hands. My first profitable deal. Months of late nights, endless networking, and small victories had led to this. "Ali," Omar said, shaking my hand firmly. "I've been in this business a long time. I don't usually say this, but you've got talent. Real talent." "Thanks," I said, my chest tight. I appreciate that. More than you know." He nodded, eyes sharp. "Keep your focus. There's more ahead, bigger challenges." I smiled, but inside, a quiet fire ignited. Finally, the world was starting to notice me. Not Leah, not my old classmates, not the whispers. Me. Later that week, I ran into Leah at a cafe, our old haunt, coincidentally. She was with friends, laughing, perfectly poised as always. But when her eyes met mine, they widened. "Ollie, hi," she said, voice careful. "I didn't expect to see you here." "Leah," I replied, calm, neutral. "It's been a while." She fiddled with her coffee cup. "Yeah. I heard about your business thing. Sounds like it's going well." I raised an eyebrow. "It's going well. Step by step." Her smile was tight. I'm glad for you. Really." I studied her for a moment, feeling a mixture of satisfaction and restraint. Every word she had said to me before, every laugh, every smirk, had fueled this climb. And now, seeing her attempt casual niceties, it was almost entertaining. "You're here for a meeting?" I asked, keeping my tone neutral. She nodded. "Yeah, just talking with a client." I smiled faintly. "Good luck with that." She hesitated. "Ollie." She stopped. Words failed her. I let her hang there, realizing I didn't owe her closure or conversation. I had something she didn't: independence, control, and a life I had built with my own hands. The following weeks brought challenges I hadn't anticipated. Naveed, a rival entrepreneur, tried to outmaneuver me at a deal. "You're moving too fast, Ollie," he said during a negotiation. "This market isn't ready for you yet." I leaned forward. "Maybe not. But I'm ready. And I don't wait for permission." He frowned, surprised. "Ambitious. I'll give you that." By the end of the meeting, I had closed the deal. Naveed's respect was grudging but real. That victory wasn't just financial, it was a confirmation that my strategy, my persistence, and my growing skills mattered. Ayan met me afterward. "You did it. You actually did it." I laughed, exhaustion and satisfaction mingling. "I did. Step by step. Just like we planned." He nudged me. "And Leah?" I shook my head, smiling faintly. I haven't thought about her in months. But then came the subtle encounters. An old friend mentioning she asked about me. A passing glance from her at an event. A message, casual, almost innocent: "Hey, I heard congratulations are in order. Good job, Ollie." I read it once, twice. I didn't reply. Part of me wanted to, the old part that longed for approval. But another part, the part that had burned with betrayal, stayed firm. Not today. Not ever. At a business luncheon, I met Sarah again. "Ollie, you're moving faster than I expected," she said, impressed. "Most people stall after a few wins. But you keep pushing." "I've learned patience," I said. "And how to turn setbacks into fuel." She smiled. "It's inspiring. People don't usually see it this way." I felt the satisfaction deep in my chest. Recognition from someone who understood effort, skill, and persistence was far more meaningful than approval from anyone who had ever doubted me. Late one night, I reflected on everything: the betrayals, the sleepless nights, the moments I thought I'd never recover. I allowed a small, private smirk. They'll see it all. Leah, Ryan, everyone. They'll see me rise while they laughed. But the smirk faded into thoughtfulness. Success had a new weight: responsibility. Independence wasn't just financial, it was moral. I could use this power for petty revenge, but I didn't. I would rise above, prove myself, and let life deliver the lesson naturally. Ayan leaned against the doorframe. "You've changed, Ollie. You're different now. Confident. Powerful. And not the angry boy I used to know." "Yeah," I admitted, voice low. "But the fire's still there. Just controlled." He smiled. "Controlled fire is what makes mountains burn." I nodded, looking at the city lights outside my window. I could feel the life I had built expanding, slowly but surely. My dreams weren't just visions anymore, they were plans, and plans were reality. And Leah? She was still a part of my story, but no longer the center. The center was me. Me, my choices, my victories. Every casual apology or awkward glance she sent my way only reminded me of what I had earned on my own. Small victories, recognition, independence, they weren't the end, but they were proof. Proof that the boy who had been laughed at, mocked, and dismissed had risen above it all. And with each passing day, I felt the subtle thrill of the next step, the next deal, the next challenge, the next moment when the world would have to respect me, even if she never admitted it aloud. I first noticed it at the conference, a subtle shift in the room when Leah walked in. The whispers weren't meant for me, but I caught every one of them. "She's struggling to get that deal," someone murmured. "She's never handled anything like this before," another voice said, smirking. Leah tried to smile, but it was strained. I could see the tension in her shoulders, the careful way she avoided eye contact. It was surreal, almost satisfying, though I reminded myself not to gloat too loudly in my mind. Later, I ran into her at the elevator. She froze mid-step, eyes widening the instant she saw me. "Ollie, hi," she said, voice small, almost fragile. "Leah," I said calmly. "Long time." She swallowed. "Yeah. I heard about your recent deal. Congratulations." "Thanks," I said, keeping my tone neutral. "It's been challenging." Her gaze dropped to the floor. I didn't expect you to succeed?" I asked, letting a faint smile play across my lips. "Neither did a lot of people, apparently." She looked up, panic flickering in her eyes. "Listen. Ollie, I messed up back then. I didn't realize." I held up a hand. "Leah. That was years ago. It's irrelevant now." "No, it's not irrelevant," she said, frustration creeping into her voice. I tried, but people aren't listening to me. Nothing's going right. Everyone's talking about my mistakes." I studied her carefully. Every word, every tremor in her voice, reminded me of the countless nights I had spent wondering if I'd ever rise again. And now, here she was, tasting her own consequences. Her phone buzzed. She glanced down, jaw tightening. It's my father. He's not happy about the latest deal. My friends, they're avoiding me. Everything's falling apart." I nodded slowly, keeping my expression calm. Sometimes, life teaches lessons we don't want to learn. But it's up to us how we respond. Her shoulders slumped. I never thought it would be like this. I thought I was untouchable." "You're learning now," I said quietly. "The world doesn't revolve around anyone. Actions have consequences, Leah. Always." She looked at me, eyes glistening. Why are you calm? Don't you hate me?" I shook my head. "I've learned something better than hate. Satisfaction isn't shouting or revenge, it's seeing someone face the natural result of their choices while you move forward." Her lips trembled. I wish I could go back." "Everyone wishes that at some point," I said. "But we can't." She glanced down, tears escaping despite her attempt to stay composed. I didn't reach out. I didn't need to. Seeing her unravel quietly, naturally, that was enough. Later that evening, Ayan caught me in the lobby. "She looked broken," he said softly. I nodded, thinking of the first day she humiliated me. She is. But that's her path. I can't control it, and I won't interfere. This, karma, if you want to call it that, is just life balancing itself. "Do you feel good?" he asked. Conflicted, I admitted. A part of me feels satisfaction. But another part remembers the anger, the betrayal. Revenge is never simple. It's messy, and I don't want to be consumed by it. He smiled knowingly. You're handling it better than most would. I walked outside, cool air brushing my face. I thought of the torn photograph I'd kept for so long. The girl in it had seemed invincible once. Now, she was just human. Flawed. Vulnerable. And I was no longer a victim, I was calm, focused, moving forward. The next day, I overheard more whispers at a social event. Leah's project is failing. She's losing credibility fast. I told you she couldn't handle it, someone else said. She passed nearby, glancing at me briefly. Our eyes met for a second, and I saw the regret, the realization that no charm, no family name, no shallow smile could undo the choices she had made. Later, she approached me. Ollie. I don't expect forgiveness. I shook my head gently. Leah, I don't hold grudges like that. I've got my own path now. You'll have yours. Her lips quivered. I never thought I'd feel so alone. You brought yourself here, I said softly, eyes level with hers. Actions have consequences. Life teaches lessons whether we want them or not. She looked down, tears escaping freely now. I didn't smile, didn't revel in it. I simply nodded, letting the moment exist without interference. Walking away, I felt the calmest I had in years. The betrayal, the pain, the anger, all of it had shaped me, but none of it controlled me anymore. The girl who had laughed at me was facing reality, and I was free. I whispered to myself as I left the room, step by step, Ollie. You've risen above. Let life handle the rest. And as I glanced back one last time, I saw her standing there, surrounded by people who no longer offered comfort, her confidence faltering, realizing that status, charm, and privilege could not save her from the consequences of her choices. I saw her before she saw me, Leah, standing by the glass doors of the office lobby, perfectly poised, perfectly unaware that today would be different. Leah, I said, stepping into her line of sight. Her eyes widened instantly. Ollie, what are you doing here? I came to talk, I said calmly, letting the weight of my presence fill the space between us. She hesitated, glance flicking to the floor. I don't know if this is a good idea. I shook my head. It's a perfect idea. We need closure. Her lips trembled. Closure. Ollie, after everything, what can closure even mean? Everything, I said, my voice low but firm. You betrayed me. You humiliated me. You laughed at my dreams. And I let it break me. She swallowed. I didn't realize. You didn't realize. I echoed, voice rising slightly. I told you everything, Leah. My struggles, my dreams, my fears. And you. I know. I know, she interrupted, panic creeping in. I was stupid, selfish. You chose him, I said, letting each word strike. Ryan. You thought status mattered more than honesty, more than trust. You destroyed what we had with a single choice. Her eyes filled with tears, voice breaking. I didn't know it would hurt you this much. I thought it wouldn't matter. I didn't think you'd. I mattered, I said sharply, stepping closer. I always mattered. But you treated me like a stepping stone, a joke, a boy who was beneath you. Do you even know what that feels like? She shook her head, tears spilling freely now. No. I'm sorry, Ollie. I really am. I can't take it back, but You don't get to take it back, I said firmly, controlling the surge of anger rising in my chest. Not now. Not ever. The only thing you can do is, learn from it. Her voice cracked. I am learning. Every day, I see what I lost. I see what I did. And it haunts me. I know, I said, voice softer now. I've watched. I've heard the whispers, seen your struggles. Karma, if you want to call it that, has a way of balancing things. She flinched, looking away. I never thought I'd feel so alone. You brought yourself here, I said quietly. I didn't ruin you. I didn't make your friends avoid you, or your projects fail. That's on you. Her hands trembled as she reached out. Ollie. Can we? I mean, I just want. I stepped back, keeping my distance. No. You don't get forgiveness today. Or my attention. You don't get to fix what you broke. I've grown past needing that from you. She blinked, stunned, the air thick between us. You're calm. I thought you'd break? Cry? Beg for closure? I said, shaking my head. I was that boy once. Angry, hurt, desperate for validation. But I'm not him anymore. I'm not your victim. Tears streamed down her face, and for a moment, I almost felt a pang of pity. Almost. I never knew you'd. I mean, I thought, she choked, words failing her. I thought I'd never recover from you, I admitted softly. But I did. Step by step. I built my life, my independence, my respect, my victories, all without needing you to approve of me. Her voice cracked. I see that now. I messed up, Ollie. I know, I said, letting the calm wash over me. And that's enough. For you. But it's not for me. I don't need your apology, your tears, your recognition. I need my life, my progress, and my peace. She looked at me, helpless, guilt and regret etched across her face. You've really changed. I nodded. I have. And so can you, if you're willing to accept your choices. But it's not my job to fix your life. It's yours. Silence fell. I felt the shift, the power dynamic was no longer hers. It had never been mine to give, but now it was undeniable. I stood taller, breathing evenly, letting the years of anger and pain settle into quiet strength. I hope you're happy, she whispered, voice trembling. I am, I said simply. And I will keep being happy. Without you. Without anyone who ever doubted me. Her shoulders slumped. She looked smaller, more fragile, a reminder that no charm or privilege could protect her from reality. I turned to leave, feeling a strange mixture of catharsis and calm. No victory dance, no gloating. Just peace. I had confronted her, expressed my pain, my growth, and taken back control of my own story. As I walked away, I whispered to myself, almost like a mantra, I'm free. I'm stronger. I'm rising. Step by step, Ollie. Step by step. And for the first time in years, I felt it fully, I didn't need her validation. I never had. I only needed me. I slid into the driver's seat of my brand new car, the leather cool under my hands. The engine purred, and for the first time in years, I felt the kind of calm satisfaction that comes from knowing you've earned everything on your own. Ayan. I called, opening the door for him. He grinned, stepping in beside me. Man, this is insane. Look at you, Ollie. You actually did it. I did, I said, starting the engine. Step by step. Every late night, every deal, every risk, it all led here. He laughed, shaking his head. And Leah? She's probably watching this somewhere, wishing she'd never ignored you. I smiled faintly, keeping my focus on the road. Maybe. But she's irrelevant now. This is my life. Mine. Not hers. We drove past the city lights, neon reflecting off the windshield. Ayan leaned back, nodding toward the skyline. You know, all those months of struggle, you never let it break you completely. That's rare, Ollie. Most people crumble. I didn't have the luxury of crumbling, I said. I had too much to prove, to myself. He chuckled. And now? You've proven it. To everyone, not just yourself. I glanced at him. Yeah, but the real proof is internal. Confidence, independence. I don't need applause or recognition anymore. I've got my own validation now. Later, I met Mr. Farid at his office. He shook my hand firmly. Ollie, congratulations. Your journey has been remarkable. But I hope you understand, this isn't the end. It's just another beginning. I know, I said, letting a small smile creep across my face. And I'm ready for it. For every challenge ahead. He leaned back, studying me. You've changed. Not just financially, but emotionally. That fire you carried, now it's tempered. Focused. Balanced. You're impressive. I laughed softly. I've learned the hard way. Pain teaches better than any mentor alone. He nodded. True. But guidance helps shape the pain into progress. Don't forget that. I won't, I said, sincerity in my voice. I couldn't have done it without your support, or Ayan's. Speaking of Ayan, we celebrated later that night at a small gathering. Glasses clinked, laughter filling the room, but for me, the most important moments were quiet. Conversations with people who had stood by me mattered more than attention from anyone who had doubted me. You've changed, Ollie, Ayan said, eyes gleaming. The boy who was broken and humiliated, he's gone. And this man, he's unstoppable. I shrugged, smiling. I'm not unstoppable. I'm just, consistent. Focused. And finally free. He laughed. Free from Leah, free from the past, free from doubt. Yes, I agreed. Every success, every victory, it's proof that letting go of resentment and concentrating on growth is better than revenge. Not that I didn't enjoy watching karma unfold, but it's the personal victory that counts. The night air felt alive as I drove home afterward. I thought about the torn photograph of Leah I had kept for so long. It no longer held power over me. It was just a memory, painful, but instructive. A reminder of why I had worked, fought, and refused to give up. Pulling into the driveway of my new house, I felt the full weight of achievement settle over me. The keys in my hand, the car in the driveway, the life I had built, everything was tangible now. I had transformed from a boy haunted by betrayal into a man who commanded respect and controlled his destiny. Inside, Ayan and I pored over plans for my next ventures. You've got a solid foundation now, he said. What's next? I shrugged, sipping my coffee. I don't know yet. Maybe expand the business, maybe something creative. The point is, I have options. I have freedom. And I can make decisions without fear. He smiled. That's the real victory. Independence. I nodded, thinking of Leah one last time. She was a quiet shadow now, a reminder of the pain that had forged me, but she held no sway. No tears, no regret, no lingering anger could touch me anymore. And the best part? I asked him, leaning back. I did all of this without needing her validation. Exactly, he said, raising his glass. To Ollie. For rising, for growing, for winning. I raised mine too. To growth, friendship, and freedom. As I sat there, glass in hand, I realized something important. Revenge, closure, recognition, they were all secondary. The real victory was internal: maturity, acceptance, and the ability to face the world without fear or dependence. Later, alone, I walked out to the driveway, leaning against my car. The city lights glimmered, the night calm and quiet. I breathed deeply. For the first time in years, I felt completely at peace. I whispered to myself, soft but certain, I am free. I am strong. I am enough. And I knew it wasn't just words. It was truth. Step by step, I had rebuilt my life. Step by step, I had claimed myself. And now, finally, I could look forward, not back. I didn't need anyone else's approval, not Leah's, not anyone's. I had me, and that was more than enough.